The day is finally here. It is opening night for the Arizona Coyotes at Mullett Arena. We're going to break down their game, preview what they got going. Arizona Coyotes versus the Winnipeg Jets. What to expect? Who do we have to win on this first game of the temporary arena? All in today's episode of Locked On Coyotes.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Robyn Leonio. That's Carl Pavlok right beside me. On today's episode of Locked On Coyotes, I want to thank everyone for making this show your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. I also want to let everyone know that today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. We got a great show for you guys on today's episode. Arizona versus the Winnipeg Jets tonight at Mullett Arena. Carl, the very first game at Mullett Arena for the Coyotes as they set to play at this venue for at least 3 years. How are you feeling for this first home game?
I'm really excited. I am anxiously awaiting what this is going to be, what this is going to look like. The NHL, I think, made the right call at broadcasting this game on ESPN Plus and Hulu. So a more national audience will hopefully be able to watch it and kind of see what the game is like. We've got player reviews of the ice. It's apparently really good. The board's really springy. I think was one of the things that was discussed today. So should be a fun game in a new barn.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's definitely be fun, right? A lot of players have already said that they're like Coyotes players at least have said they're looking forward to it. It's gonna because it's the kind of venue where it's smaller, but it's gonna be loud. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be unique in a lot of different ways. And people have asked about revenue. I mean, their ticket revenue is actually up, right? So
Yeah.
I mean.
Did you see the video? It was like Clayton Keller and a couple of other college players and Sidney Crosby talking about playing in the arena. I don't
I did not
know.
see that.
It was a lot of like former NCAA players and Sidney Crosby of all people, and they're just kind of like, "How is it?" And like these guys like love talking about playing in college arenas. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's an experience. Like if you've never done it, it's just its own thing." And I think there's going to be a bit of that. Like that student section is going to be wild. Can you imagine like any other arena where there's a student section right behind, like in earshot of the goalie? It's going to be crazy.
Oh, it is going to be absolutely wild. Um, it's, I think the most hilarious thing will probably be when the like because it's probably I'm gonna figure out where exactly the student section is because can't remember I can't remember exactly where they're planning on putting it. But was it towards where the Coyotes shoot twice, or is it the other side?
I did not even look. As a man in his 30s, I no longer try and pass as a student, so I'm just like completely avoiding it. But I'm sure we'll see it in the photos. There's going to be a drum line. I imagine that's going to be there. I can't wait to hear like the he shoots, he scores, hey goalie, you suck chant.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, you
like
said it, and I was excited for some. Like I was thinking about saying it myself, but no, those college chants are freaking fantastic.
Well, that was like, we did it at Gila River Arena all the time. Like, that was a normal thing. I imagine it's going to carry over,
But when
and
you
it's
get
going to,
drunk college students in a smaller
yes,
venue, it's gonna be louder.
yeah, it is going to be so much like louder. Like, I do wonder, will the Coyotes have the most intimidating fan experience? Like, if they get into a game, like that could unnerve you if you're used to like a bigger space. Suddenly, a small and loud one. Uh, I don't know. That could be an advantage. Kind of like how Vegas had that whole advantage their first year of players going to Vegas.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the only other way the thing you can compare the he shoots he scores chant is to how Nashville does it because they do it on a whole nother level. Um, but just imagining this at a college venue is going to be something.
Yeah, yeah, and again, it's temporary. I'm sure we're gonna, you know, it'll be fun while it lasts, but if by the end we'll all be sad to see it go and happy to be moving on to the new venue. Because yes, as you said up top, and as a lot of people said, as photos of the visitor locker room were released, it's only temporary.
Yeah, only temporary. Only gonna be 3 years. I think at least 3 years. I think what like maybe four, five, like four max, right?
Yeah. Oh well, I think they kind of like left it open for the potential. It's like 3.5 years or like 3 years and a month. Um, I don't remember seeing it go up to four, but who knows? It's construction of an entertainment complex.
Yeah, and especially and we're going to talk about this in another episode, but especially as the decision is looming for the TED. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about it in another episode, so we're not going to talk about it now. But that's a little teaser. So be sure to listen to our next episode to kind of know what's going on with that. But that decision is looming.
Yep. Yep. But let's stick to the present and this upcoming game at Mullett.
Absolutely, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. We're actually going to preview it in just a second and talk about players to watch out for, kind of stats to pay attention to, get ready for the game, everything of the sort and of that in just a moment. But first, I'm gonna turn to Carl for a quick word.
So I just want to say that betonline.net is your number one source for betting football and the start of the new basketball season. It's where you can find out the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And don't forget, as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including Major League Baseball, MMA, boxing, and golf. You can head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts.
Thanks again, everyone, for making Locked On Coyotes your first listen today. For your second listen, be sure to check out Locked On Sports today. From the games that matter most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today is available on this app, YouTube, on the Audacy app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Let's now move on, Carl, and get ready for this game. Arizona Coyotes versus Winnipeg. Uh, what a better team to start the home season against rather than the team that eventually took place because, those who knows the history of the Coyotes.
Yep. Yep. It's fun that Jets 1.0 are going to be playing Jets 2.0, or Jets 1.0 are going to be playing Thrashers 1.0, however you want to look at it. But should be a good matchup. The Coyotes have a bit of momentum after that Columbus win. The Jets are going to be tired. Their second game of a back-to-back, third of a 3-game road trip. So this could be another win.
Yeah.
I don't want to expect that because
I mean,
four of the 6 games were bad.
I mean, you look at the way it is. I mean, again, this is the first home game. We've had 6 games already, and this is the first home game of the season. Coming home from a win. That's
Yeah,
momentum. Versus what you said. Winnipeg is going to be on the second of a road back to back. That already changes things, but also just already just on a road trip in general.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, actually, no, I had that wrong. It looks like they have one more game. They're going to be playing the Golden Knights before they return home. Uh, so this is the start of their road trip. So they got a whole other game to look forward to. They're doing a 3-4. Um, they're currently playing the Kings, so that's like nothing of a trip. So don't expect them to be too tired from the road trip. But the Coyotes have been resting since what, Tuesday?
yeah, they've been off since Tuesday, and kind of getting ready from that win, right? That they had on Tuesday over Columbus, in which and I did look back at my predictions of the Columbus game, and I thought it was going to be 6-3 Columbus, and it was the other way around,
Yeah.
um, which was something, and you know oh, and I think that's another thing to look forward to, and it's going to go into partially into predictions, but I'm going to just give it a little preview. But it's going to be another high scoring game, which I'm going to be excited for. Because again, we're talking about a home opener. We're talking about all the excitement. We're talking about, you know, the expectations for the Coyotes and the way they are. It's gonna be a crazy one. I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, here's the problem with that though. The Coyotes are still a bad team.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah. So you could have momentum, you could have a positive vibe at the arena. I still think that the only reason they won their 2 games this season is that their opponents did not take them seriously enough. And I feel like the Jets are not going to do that. They are, a division rival. They are a team with history. They know that the Coyotes just beat the Columbus Blue Jackets because the Blue Jackets didn't take them seriously enough. Like that's what scouting reports are going to be. Like they should come into today's game and be like, all right, we can't let up. If we keep forcing plays, they'll take dumb penalties, and don't let them have a power play. And that's kind of all you need to know to beat the Coyotes on most nights.
Absolutely. Let's kind of focus on some expectations we have for this game, and in that, I'm going to ask you this question: Is a who's going to be on the player spotlight for you? Who's someone that you think should have a good game or a very important game coming up for tonight's game?
So I did shout out this player in today's preview on Five for Howling. Clayton Keller comes into the game running a 5 game point streak. He had 3 assists on Tuesday against the Blue Jackets. He is slowly contributing a lot of offense to the Coyotes. And he leads the team with, I believe, 5 assists. Yes, 5 assists. So definitely, not scoring as many goals, but definitely contributing to offense.
Absolutely. My player spotlight is going to go to. I'm going to focus on Shane Gottisbehere.
Another
Um,
good one.
because his last couple games have been great, right? I think he had a pair of goals right. He had a pair of goals in the last game. Um,
Just won the last game, but it was 2 game goal streak.
yeah, he's on
So
a
he
two game,
had, yeah, one
but
against Columbus, one against Ottawa.
yeah, so he's been looking great, right? Not because on top of that, like the goals, but also the assists, right? He knows how to set things up. He knows where to be. And is it really a surprise? No, because he's looked great. He's kind of been a great, a really good team player ever since he joined the Coyotes. Yeah, he's as every other player on the Coyotes have had their downs, like especially last year, but like so far to start this year, he's looked great. Um, and gonna put that spotlight of him on opening night to see how he responds.
All right, so I do just want to apologize. You were absolutely correct. Shane Gostisbehere did have 2 goals against the Blue Jackets. I was thinking of another player who I thought you were going to say, Dylan Gunther, because
Yes,
he has been on a hot streak.
absolutely. That's another player. Like, I think that's one that we can both be excited for because this kid is just riding a high, and he is gonna do and honestly, Carl, I think he is gonna keep doing whatever he can do to make himself look good and to make the Coyotes fans fall in love with him even more, even despite the fact that he's probably gonna get sent down by the end of next week.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this lineup, the players who are on the team, like I have to imagine a player like Dylan Gunther who knows that even if he gets sent down this year, he's going to be back next year. He is that close to being a full time NHLer, if he's not already. But this is his building. This is going to be where he plays hockey for his most formative years. And I feel like he's going to want to have a big game just to kind of establish like this is Dylan Gunther's house. Uh, don't try anything because he's just gonna outscore you.
Absolutely, it's gonna be really exciting to see the kid, and I think in general, fans, this is gonna be the first time, like the first time we're gonna have a sold out venue in Arizona. Watch for this kid, right?
Yeah,
Like, and I think everyone's excited for it. Like, I don't think anyone's like if you're going to this game and Dylan Gunther isn't on your list of players that you're gonna just scream their names. I'm like, what are you doing?
yeah, and like with the fact that the team is so early in a rebuild, like who else do you imagine being in that arena 3 years from now when this all ends? What you got? Mosier, he seems
Mm-hmm.
like he is doing well on that path. Clayton Keller, absolutely is going to be there. Um, maybe Jack McBain. Uh,
Depending on the trajectory, Barrett Hayton.
Barrett Hayton. Yeah, yeah, definitely. He seems to be well enough on that path, uh, but not too many others. Would you really say, right?
Yeah, obviously, maybe the excitement for Logan Cooley and Connor Geeky.
Yeah, but they're not going to be there opening night. Like, Kraus. Kraus is going to be there.
True.
Like, I do think that there's going to be something special with the players who were there at Mullett Arena in the beginning and there at the end. And I'm going to go one more. And this one's maybe a bit of a Hail Mary. I'm going to say Matthias Michele is there in the beginning
Mhm.
and at the end.
Absolutely, I think that would be another fun thing to watch out for to see how his career goes out from game one at Mullett to the final game at Mullett and potentially the first game at the TED. Um,
Uh, we have to start planning our retrospective 3 years from now.
yep, we're gonna do it.
For yeah.
It is gonna be fun. Anyways, though, we still got more to get to on this episode of Locked On Coyotes. We're gonna get to some predictions and some keys to the game as once again the Arizona Coyotes set to take on the Winnipeg Jets in the home opener tonight. It's gonna be an exciting one. We're gonna get to all that in just a moment, but first, I want to tell you guys about our next partner at Simply Safe. The numbers don't lie. In the last decade, over 4 million people have chosen Simply Safe Home Security to protect their home. You don't earn the trust of that many people without doing something right. At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. And I know because I use Simply Safe in my own home, and they protect you with cutting edge security technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back. And that's why I love it. A 24/7 professional monitoring Simply Safe agents call you the moment a threat is detected and dispatch police or first responders in an emergency, even if you're not home or can't be reached. Simply Safe blankets your home in protection with advanced sensors in every room, window, and door, HD security cameras for inside and outside your home, smarter ways to detect motion that only alert you when a threat is real, and even hazard sensors that can instantly detect fires, floods, and other threats to your house. Their monitoring experts use proprietary advanced response technology to visually confirm when a break-in is real, so you get the highest priority police dispatch. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/lockedonnhl. Save 20% on your Simply Safe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Once again, visit simplysafe.com/lockedonnhl to learn more. There is no safe like Simply Safe. Let's now move on to predictions and keys of the game. First, obviously, let's go to the keys, Carl, because we're predictions. I think we can save best for last and everything like that. But keys to the game. What is the most important thing to you that the Coyotes need to focus on to make sure they're able to try to secure a win tonight?
Penalties and not taking early penalties. Uh, the thing that I loved about the Columbus game, the thing that I thought gave them the start that really propelled them through the rest of the game was they didn't take the first penalty. They let Columbus do, and then they let their great power play go to work on that. But if they're going to take an early penalty, they're going to have a bad time.
Absolutely. That is definitely a really good key. I'm going to go ahead and say in a similar way, like when you said, that early bit, and mine is start on time, right?
Yeah,
I mentioned this in the in my preview with Jay Forster of Locked On Blue Jackets is start on time, because the Coyotes in most of their games didn't start on time, and look how it ended up for them. Um,
yeah,
Starting on time, making sure you are ready from opening the gates right away. You have to be on top of it. If you're not, teams take advantage of that, and that's how those early penalties, as you mentioned, go into place. And that's when the floodgates go the opposite way against you. You just cannot control what's coming your way.
yep, absolutely. If the Coyotes end up having to spend the first 5 minutes in their own zone defending, like someone's going to do something reckless, take a call, and it's only going to get worse. The Coyotes' consistency has definitely been a major issue this season, and it's something I think we've talked about. It's something I know I've written about. It's not going to get better. Like, I don't think that they're going to become like a top tier consistent team. It'll improve slightly, hopefully, but it's just kind of what you get with a team that's built this way. They just need to take steps to mitigate it. They need to be very disciplined. It's not going to come naturally, though.
Absolutely. Another potential key, depending on the kind of person you are, I'm not sure if you believe in this or not, but absorb the energy, right? Is like, and we talked about it. We've been saying it all along. This is the first home game for this venue. Take advantage of that. You're gonna have a loud crowd because of that. Really do what you can.
I am not an energy person. I don't know how much the crowd really contributes, except to a certain type of player. Like, I know that there are players who build off the energy. I don't think teams do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm of belief that teams can like yes, the crowds can influence a team's energy in a certain game, and in the sense where, like, or not really an energy, but a team's you know ability to work with each other and communication and stuff like that. There's a reason why, for example, uh, and I use like historic examples, like in football, right, where Seattle has been known of having an extremely difficult venue for road teams to be at because they're so damn loud that you can't even hear the snap count. Um,
yeah,
so, like, in a similar way, get as loud as you can in that venue, and let the Coyotes feed off that energy and let it intimidate. See what try to focus on using that to intimidate the Jets.
Yeah. I would also say that the Coyotes need to. I briefly touched on this. They need to keep up that power play success. They have been shockingly good on the power play. I think they're currently sixth in the league. We're recording this night before, so that may change by the time you're listening. Always seems to happen. And they've just been really good. You mentioned Shane Gostisbehere getting a goal on the power play against the Blue Jackets. Dylan Gunther got the other one. Like, they need to keep that up. They need to score goals with the man advantage because they're not going to score too many without it.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get to some predictions for this game. BetOnline does not have their odds posted at the time of this recording, so we won't do any crazy odds predictions because we don't want to assume what it's going to be. But we can at least safely be like, all right, Coyotes are going to be underdogs in this game. I think it's safe to assume that
Absolutely.
because the Coyotes are going to be underdogs in just about every game this season. So talk about that, and because of the trends, we're gonna self set this game, set our total points at 6.5,
Mm-hmm.
which based on the trends, it kind of makes sense, but also based off the trends, if you're not gonna bet over on whatever it is, what are you doing?
Yeah. The Coyotes have been in a lot of 6-goal games. Most of them where they've given up 6 goals. Some of them where they've scored 6 goals. One
Where it was 6 total between both.
Yeah. So all but one game is then over the 6.5, which seems to be kind of the baseline this season. Scoring's up, so it's always exciting. However, it's not always the case. And I'm not sure about this one. Part of me is saying 4-3, but part of me is saying 3-2.
Okay, who takes the win?
It feels foolish to say that the team isn't going to win in their first game because that's just one of those things that can rally a team.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the Coyotes 3-2 final answer.
3-2, your final score, Arizona Coyotes win. I am on a similar note. I'm going to have Arizona on top on this game. Yes, I know they are underdogs. I think we both know that. But yeah, it is home.
Mm-hmm.
It is their first home game. Yes, I agree in that novelty, the fact they use that to their advantage. And I'm going to have my final score, Carl, as a 5-3 final score.
5-3. Wow.
And with the fifth goal being an empty netter at the end.
Okay. I can see it. That is, I think, asking a bit too much, but probably what it's going to end up being because I think I've generally been expecting low scoring games, and it's just always been the Coyotes collapse in a new special way, or occasionally just come out swinging. Who knows anymore? It's just extremes right now. Like, I don't think anyone has had like a just boring game with the Coyotes yet.
Oh no, absolutely. It's whether you are there's no boring game, especially because the game have been high scoring, right?
Yep.
Even if it's bad against the Coyotes in terms of most games that were 6 goals against, there's still a lot of action, a lot of things to say, hey, that was an exciting game. Maybe with the exception of the Ottawa game, because you and I both agreed that was just a really, really bad game.
Mhm.
But but Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be really cool to see how this all goes out. Once again, Arizona Coyotes take on the Winnipeg Jets. First game at Mullett Arena, set for 7:30 p.m. tonight, and that game on ESPN Plus and on Hulu. So anybody around the nation is going to be able to watch it if you're subscribers of either one of those. So it's going to be an exciting one. Do you have any final thoughts before we close things off, Carl?
I'm just really excited. It's gonna be tough to fall asleep tonight.
Oh, hey, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's going to be it for today's episode of Locked On Coyotes. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, to like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We are available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube. Also, don't forget to find us on the Audacy app. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/lockedoncoyotes, and on Twitter at LO_coyotes. I am personally at Robyn_Leonio. Carl Pavlok is at Carl Pavlok FFH. Interact with us, ask a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.